Good evening. It is, I don't know what day it is, May 26th. And tonight we are going to be reading from 2 Samuel 9 1 through 11:25, John 15 1 through 27, Psalms 119 49 through 64, and Proverbs 16 1 through 6. Every night we like to say the Lord's Prayer, so if you don't mind joining in with me, I'd greatly appreciate it. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen. 2 Samuel 9 1 through 11:25. Excuse me. One day David asked, "Is there anyone left of Saul's family? If so, I'd like to show him some kindness in honor of Jonathan." It happened that a servant from Saul's household named Ziba was there. They called him into David's presence. The king asked him, "Are you Ziba?" "Yes, sir," he replied. The king answered. The king asked, "If there's anyone left of the family of Saul, to whom can I show some godly kindness?" Ziba told the king, "Yes, there is Jonathan's son, lame in both feet. Where is he?" "He lives at the home of Machir, son of Ammiel, in Lo Debar." King David didn't lose a minute. He sent and got him from the home of Machir, son of Amiel in Lo Debar. When Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, who was the son of Saul, came before David, he bowed deeply, abasing himself, honoring David. David spoke his name, "Mephibosheth." "Yes, sir." "Don't be frightened," said David. "I'd like to do something special for you in memory of your father Jonathan. To begin with, I'm returning to you all the properties of your grandfather Saul. Furthermore, from now on, you'll take all your meals at my table." Shuffling and stammering, not looking him in the eye, Mephibosheth said, "Who am I that you pay attention to a stray dog like me?" David then called in Ziba, Saul's right hand man, and told him, "Everything that belonged to Saul and his family I've handed over to your master's grandson. You and your sons and your servants will work his land and bring in the produce, provisions for your master's grandson, Mephibosheth himself, your master's grandson. From now on, will take all the meals at my table." Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. "All that my master and king has ordained, has ordered his servants," answered Ziba. "Your servant will surely do." And Mephibosheth ate at David's table, just like one of the royal family. Mephibosheth also had a small son named Micah. All who were part of Ziba's household were now the servants of Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem, taking all his meals at the king's table. He was lame in both feet. Sometime after this, the king of the Ammonites died in Hanun. His son succeeded him as king. David said, "I'd like to show some kindness to Hanun, the son of Nahash. Treat him as well and as kindly as my father treated me." So David sent Hanun condolences regarding his father. But when David's servants got to the land of Ammonites, the Ammonite leaders warned Hanun, their head delegate, Do you for a minute suppose that David is honoring your father by sending you comforters? Do you think it's because he wants to snoop around the city and size it up that David has sent his emissaries to you?" So Hanun seized David's men, shaved their heads, shaved off hair. Good Lord. So Hanun seized David's men, shaved off half their beards, cut off their robes halfway up their buttocks, and sent them packing. When all this was reported to David, he sent someone to meet them, for they were seriously humiliated. The king told them, "Stay in Jericho until your beards grow out, only then come back." When it dawned on the Ammonites that, as far as David was concerned, they stunk to high heaven, they hired Armene, Armene soldiers from Beth Rohab and Zobah, 20,000 infantry, and 1,000 men from the king of Makkah, and 12,000 men from Tob. When David heard of this, he dispatched Joab with the strongest fighters in full force. The Ammonites marched out and arranged themselves in battle formation at the city gate. The Armenians of Zobah and Rohab and the men of Tob and Makkah took up position out in the open fields. When Joab saw that he had two fronts to fight, before and behind, he took his pick of the best of Israel and deployed them to confront the Armenians. The rest of the army he put under the command of Abishai, his brother, and deployed them to comfort the Ammonites. Then he said, "If the Armenians are too much for me, you help me. And if the Ammonites prove too much for you, I'll come and help you. Courage. We'll both fight and nail for our people. We'll both fight tooth and nail for our people and for the cities of our God. And God will do whatever he sees needs doing." But when Joab and his soldiers moved in to fight the Armenians, they ran off in full retreat. Then the Ammonites, seeing the Armenians run for dear life, took to their heels from Abishai and went into the city. So Joab left off. So Joab left off fighting the Ammonites and returned to Jerusalem. When the Armenians saw how badly they had beaten Israel, they picked up the pieces and regrouped. Hadadezer sent for the Armenians who were across the river. They came to Halim. Shobach, commander of Hadadzer's army, led them. All this was reported to David. So David mustered Israel, crossed the Jordan, and came to Halim. The Armenians went into battle formation, ready for David, and the fight was on. But the Armenians again scattered before Israel. David killed 700 chariot drivers and 4,000 cavalry. He mortally wounded Shobach, the army commander, who died on the battlefield. When all the kings who were vassals of Hadadezer saw that they had been routed by Israel, they made peace and became Israel's vassals. The Armenians were afraid to help the Ammonites ever again. When the time of the year came around again, the anniversary of the Ammonite aggression, David dispatched Joab and his fighting men of Israel in full force to destroy the Ammonites for good. They laid siege to Rabbah, but David stayed in Jerusalem. One late afternoon, David got up from taking a nap and was strolling on the roof of the palace. From his vantage point on the roof, he saw a woman bathing. The woman was stunningly beautiful. David sent to ask about her and was told, "Isn't this Bathsheba, daughter of Eliam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" David sent his agents to get her. After she arrived, he went to bed with her. This this occurred during the time of purification, following her period. Then she returned home. Before long, she realized she was pregnant. Later, she sent word to David, "I'm pregnant." David then got in touch with Joab, sent Uriah the Hittite to me. Joab sent him. When he arrived, David asked him for news from the front, how things were going with Joab and the troops, and with the fighting. And he said to Uriah, "Go home, have a refreshing bath and a good night's rest." After Uriah left the palace, an informant of the king was sent after him. But Uriah didn't go home. He slept that night at the palace entrance along with the king's servants. David was told that Uriah had not gone home. He asked Uriah, "Didn't you just come off a hard trip? So why didn't you go home?" Uriah replied to David, "The chest is out there with the fighting men of Israel and Judah in tents. My master Joab and his servants are roughing it out in the fields. So how can I go home and eat and drink and enjoy my wife? On your life, I'll not do it." "All right," said David, "have it your way. Stay for the day, and I'll send you back tomorrow." So Uriah stayed in Jerusalem the rest of the day. The next day, David invited him to eat and drink with him, and David got him drunk. But in the evening, Uriah again went out to sleep with his master's servants. He didn't go home. In the morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it with Uriah. In the letter, he wrote, "Put Uriah in the front lines where the fighting is the fiercest. Then pull back and leave him exposed so that he's sure to be killed." So Joab, holding the city under siege, put Uriah in a place where he knew there were fierce enemy fighters. When the city's defenders came out to fight Joab, some of David's soldiers were killed, including Uriah the Hittite. Joab sent David a full report on the battle. He instructed the messenger, "After you have given to the king a detailed report of the battle, If he flares in anger, say, and by the way, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead. Joab's messengers arrived in Jerusalem and gave the king a full report. He said, the enemy was too much for us. They advanced on us in an open field, and we pushed them back to the city gate. But then arrows came hot and heavy on us from the city wall, and 18 of the king's soldiers died. When the messenger completed his report to the battle, David got angry at Joab. He vented it on the messenger. Why did you get so close to the city? Didn't you know you'd be attacked from the wall? Didn't you remember how Amalek, son of Jereb Bersheth, got killed? Wasn't it a woman who dropped a millstone on him from the wall and crushed him at Thebez? Why did you get so close to the wall? By the way, said Joab's messenger, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead. Then David told the messenger, oh, I see. Tell Joab, don't trouble yourself over this. War kills. Sometimes one, sometimes another. You never know who's next. Redouble your assault on the city and destroy it. Encourage Joab. Breakdown of Second Samuel 9:1 through 11:25. David shows incredible grace to Mephibosheth, the crippling grandson of Saul. Instead of destroying Saul's bloodline like most kings would, David restores his land and gives him a seat at the king's table. That's a picture of God's grace towards us. Broken people brought into the family because of covenant love, not performance. But then the story shifts harder in chapter 11. David stops leading, stays home from battle, lusts after Bathsheba, commits adultery, lies, and ultimately has Uriah killed to cover his sin. One bad decision turned into layers of destruction. The lesson: even strong men fall when they get passive, isolated, and undisciplined. Private compromise eventually becomes public consequence. Oh, David. John 15:1 through 27. Excuse me. I am the real vine, and my Father is the farmer. He cuts off every branch of me that doesn't bear grapes, and every branch that is grape barren, he prunes back so it will bear even more. You are already pruned back by the message I have spoken. Live in me, make your home in me, just as I do in you. In the same way that a branch can't bear grapes by itself, but only by being joined to the vine. You can't bear fruit unless you are joined with me. I am the vine, you are the branches. When you're joined with me, and I with you, the relation intimate and organic, the harvest is sure to be abundant. Separated, you can't produce a thing. Anyone who separates from me is dead wood, gathered up and thrown into the bonfire. But if you make yourself at home with me and my words are at home in you, you can be sure that whatever you ask will be listened to and acted upon. This is how my Father shows up when you produce grapes, when you mature as my disciples. I've loved you the way my Father has loved me. Make yourself at home in my love. If you keep my commands, you'll remain intimately at home in my love. That's what I've done, kept my Father's commands and made myself at home in his love. I've told you these things for a purpose, that my joy might be your joy, and your joy much mature. This is my command. Love one another as I have loved you. This is the very best way to love. Put your life on the line for your friends. You are my friends, and when you do the things I command you, I'm no longer calling you servants, because servants don't understand what their master is thinking and planning. No, I've named you friends because I've let you in on everything I've heard from the Father. You didn't choose me, remember, I choose you. You put you in the world to bear fruit, fruit that won't spoil. As fruit bears, whatever you ask the Father in relation to me, he gives you. But remember the root command: love one another. If you find the godless world is hating you, remember it has got to start hating me. If you lived in the world's terms, the world would love you as one of their own. But since I picked you to live on God's terms and no longer on world's terms, the world is going to hate you. When that happens, remember this: servants don't get better treatment than their masters. If they beat on me, they will certainly beat on you. If they did what I told them, then they will do what you tell them. They are going to do all these things to you because the way they treated me, because they didn't know the one who sent me. And if you had come and told me all this plain English, it wouldn't be so bad. As it is, they have no excuse. Hate me, hate my Father, it's all the same. If I hadn't done what I had done among them, Works, if I hadn't done what I had done among them, works no one has ever done, they wouldn't be to blame. But they saw the God signs and hated anyway, both me and my father. Interesting. They have verified the truth of their own scriptures, where it is written, they hated me for no good reason. When the friend I plan to send you from the Father comes, the Spirit of truth issues from the Father. He will confirm everything to me. You, too, from your side, must give your confirming evidence, since you are in this with me from the start. Break down John 15, 1 through 27. Jesus says, I am the vine and you are the branches. The key to fruitfulness is abiding, staying connected to him daily. You cannot fake spiritual strength. Disconnected from God, discipline without relationship becomes religion, but relationship with Christ produces real fruit: love, obedience, peace, endurance, and purpose. You cannot fake spiritual disconnect from God. Discipline without relationship becomes religion. That's deep. Jesus also warns that the world will hate you, true believers, because it hated him first. If you stand for truth, conviction, and righteousness, expect resistance. But he reminds us we're not abandoned. The Holy Spirit helps us endure and testify boldly. Psalms 119, 49 through 64. Remember what you said to me, your servant. I hang on these words for dear life. These words hold me up in bad times. Yes, your promises rejuvenate me. The haters hate me without mercy, but I don't budge from your revelation. I watch for your ancient landmark words and know I'm on the right track. But when I see the wicked ignore your directions, I'm beside myself with anger. I set your instructions to music and sing them as I walk this pilgrim way. I meditate on your name all night, O God, treasuring your revelation. O God, still I walk through a rain of derision, because I live by your word and counsel. Because you have satisfied me, God, I promise to do everything you say. I beg you from the bottom of my heart, smile. Be gracious to me just as you promised. When I took a long, careful look at your ways, I got my feet back on the trail you blazed. I was up at once, didn't drag my feet, was quick to follow your orders. The wicked hem me in. There was no way out, but not for a minute did I forget your plan for me. I got up in the middle of the night to thank you. Your decisions are so right, so true, I can't wait until morning. I'm a friend and companion of all who fear you, and of those committed to living by your rules. Your love, God fills the earth. Train me to live by your counsel. Breakdown of Psalms 119, 49 through 64. This section is about finding hope and stability in God's word during affliction. The psalmist says God's promises comfort him in suffering and keep him from quitting. Wicked people mock him, but he stays anchored. That's maturity. When emotions fluctuate, but convictions remain, discipline is continuing to honor God whether you feel inspired or not. Your habits reveal what you truly believe. Ouch. Your habits reveal what you truly believe. Proverbs 16, 1 through 3. Mortals makes elaborate plans, but God has the last word. Humans are satisfied with whatever looks good. God probes for what is good. Put God in charge of your work, and then and what you've planned will take place. Put God in charge of your work, and then what you've planned will take place. That's good. Breakdown of Proverbs 16, 1 through 3, excuse me. People make plans, but God establishes the outcome. We can strategize, dream, and prepare, but ultimately the Lord directs your steps. Verse 3 is the key. Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. In other words, surrender first, then clarity comes. A lot of confusion disappears when pride leaves the room and obedience enters it. Ouch. If no one told you today, I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you for joining. We'll see you tomorrow. It'll be May 27th. Have a better than good night. I love you. I love you. I love you. See you tomorrow.